welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be doing a really cozy soup. I have tons of tomatoes growing in the garden, so I need to use them up. So I made a lovely tomato soup and I added orzo, which I don't usually do. I prefer putting rice in, and honestly I still prefer rice. I did put orzo in the recipe. I'll show you guys. It's totally up to you, and if you don't want to add anything, then don't add anything at all. It'll still be super tasty without any pasta or rice in it. But yeah, that's what I did. I had fresh basil from the garden, so I decided to make this soup. You can't get much easier than a really cozy tomato soup, and tomatoes are so nutritious. Also, of course, herbs are always super healthy and very detoxifying, so I like to add some herbs into all of my food. And the star of the show of the herbs is going to be basil for this soup. But I also really like to sprinkle a little bit of oregano in pretty much all my cooking. So yeah, let's get on with the recipe. Again, as always, super easy and very fuss-free. So before we head into the recipe, I just wanted to share a product that I just found, and it's a coffee alternative made with chicory root, and it's really inexpensive. So I decided to try it. Because Danny Blend is really expensive, I thought maybe in between I can order this if it tastes good, and I really actually liked it. So I had it black and I liked it. And then because we are going into the pumpkin spice time of year, I did purchase a creamer. I do purchase seasonal creamers just to jazz up some of my drinks to make them more festive. So I put a little bit of that in it and it was so delicious. So I do recommend it if you want to try it, and if you want something that's very similar to coffee that's caffeine free, if you're trying to cut back like me, I definitely would give this a try. So I thought I just wanted to share it in case you guys are in my boat trying to cut down on that caffeine. So for my really simple rustic tomato soup, I just plucked a whole bunch of tomatoes out of the garden. I have about, like, I would say 25 to 30 Roma tomatoes. You can use any kind of tomatoes, it's up to you. I just have an abundance, so I am trying to use them all up. And then I have them all, and then I put them into the oven. So I bake them at 425 for about an hour, sometimes 45 minutes. It depends if I'm in a hurry or not. But at the hour mark, they get really nice and soft. They're also a little bit browned on top, really delicious. And this is what it looks like. So it's just cooling off slightly because I prefer to cool it off a little bit before I put it into my processor. And it is so, so delicious. Even this by itself as a side dish is so delicious. If you maybe roasted some garlic and some herbs along with it, super yummy. And of course, really, really nutritious. So I just throw it into the blender once I have cooled it off a little bit. So I threw mine into a Dutch oven just because I wanted it to cook a little bit faster because I was a little short on time, but you can use any pot actually. You just have to keep an eye because the Dutch oven really is super hot, so things will stick on the bottom if you're not careful. Just be mindful and mix it through, every so often. But yeah, you're just going to basically cook that up, I would say between 20 and 30 minutes, just to let everything get nice and flavorful. I add some bouillon and I just use a teaspoon, but you can add more if you want to. If you wanted to add liquid, you could as well. I just use this one because it's quite concentrated and really, really delicious. And then I add filtered water afterward just to thin it out. Now, the seasonings, it's completely up to you. I like onion powder and garlic powder, paprika. I use a little bit of oregano as well, like I had said in my intro. I love oregano for all its healing properties, so I use it in pretty much everything. So I just mix everything up, whatever seasonings I plan on using for my soup. And then you just let that cook down and keep an eye on it. Like I said, every so often, give it a little mix, but it really is quite fuss-free. So I go ahead and add fresh basil because I have it in the garden. If you don't have fresh basil, don't fuss about it. Just throw in dry basil when you are adding your other spices, no big deal. But since I have it in abundance, why not use it? So yeah, I just threw in a whole big bunch like you guys saw, and I just tear it up because it's going to get really, really flavorful in the sauce. And then I just let it wilt down and do its thing. And that is pretty much it. It's very, very fuss-free, like I said. So I added filtered water, and this is, where you're going to add more or less depending on how, runny you want your soup. Some people like their soup rather thick. So this is customizable, obviously, but I'll have the whole recipe in the description box. You can see how I make it, and then you can, adjust it accordingly. After everything's been cooking, for about 30 minutes, this is when I go ahead and I decide what I'm going to add in. On this day I had orzo, so I just decided to use it up because it annoys me when I have little bits of stuff in the cupboard. So I prefer rice, to be honest, but on this day I used orzo. You just put in whatever you like. It doesn't matter what I like. Whatever you like, throw it in. So I also like to go ahead and add in the water just to thin it out. Just be mindful that as your rice and your pasta cooks up, it is going to thicken up. So you are going to need to add quite a bit, I would say. And then the thing is, once it cools off and you're going to have it as leftovers, or even if it cools off on the stovetop for a while, because of that rice and pasta, it will get a little bit thick. So you may always have to add just a touch more water just to, make it a little more runny. So again, very customizable, not a huge deal. The other thing that I like to do is after it's cooked up, I like to, just cut up a little more of my fresh basil because I just want a little more pop of color and I don't want it to cook too much like the other basil. So that's a preference thing. I like to add a little bit more, but again, you don't need to. This is just how I do it. So I just wanted to show you how things thicken up as it sits on the stove. See how it's thickening up, especially because it's pasta. The rice won't do this as much as the pasta, so be mindful, again, you may have to add more water.